Hey YouTube, welcome to another video. In this episode, I will show how to decouple an Umada gateway and use a $19 TP-Link Wi-Fi router not only as an internet gateway but also support LAN inter-VLAN routing even if the device itself does not mention about LAN inter-VLAN routing, nor is it able to create any VLAN on its web management console. My goal is to show the separation of the gateway router and the layer 2 switch not just in form but also in structure and design. So without further delay, let me show the logical diagram. This is the current setup that I have. I'll just quickly go through this design since I already covered the full configurations and setup of this logical diagram in the past. So if you're looking at the mini video, I have an ER605 gateway in here and it's connected to the SG2008, and which in turn are connected to all the three layer 2 switches that I have. This is the SG2210MP, this is the SGT428X, and this is the SGT428. And of course, the star of the show for this episode, this is the TL-WR841N, which is going to replace the ER605 gateway for inter-VLAN routing across all those three layer 2 switches. This is the goal, this is the target design for this particular episode. The TL-WR841N will be the one handling the inter-VLAN routing for all these layer 2 switches. You might say, hey, why I'm using the TL-WR841N for this beefy network? The point that I want to emphasize is not that the TL-WR841N Wi-Fi router should be used as an internet gateway for Umada platform, but instead, I want to demonstrate how to decouple an Umada gateway and easily use another gateway not just for internet access but also for inter-VLAN routing across these layer 3 switches. So let me just jump into the technical specifications of this device and also show you the price of this in Amazon. So this is that device in here, and for the specifications, I'll put in a link on the description and you can see all the specifications in here. I'm currently using the version 14 if I remember it correctly, and you can find it in Amazon for $19.99, so $20. This is the device that I'm going to use to do inter-VLAN routing across all those three layer 2 switches. It's currently at 4.2 stars, so it's not really that bad for its price range and for its purpose and function. Like I mentioned, I have the ER605, the SGT428, SG3428X, and SG2210MP. The ER605 is the gateway, and all these are layer 2 switches. It is very important to note the IP addresses of this. As I mentioned in the logical diagram, it's quite easy. RT01 is 101, RT02 is 102, and RT03 is 103. These are their models and these are their current versions. So let me just go quickly through their devices configurations. For the RT01-SG3428, this is the SVI and VLAN configurations 11, 21, and 31. For the RT02 SG3428X, this is the VLAN configuration. I have VLAN 41, 51, and 61. And finally, for the RT03 SG2210MP, this is how the VLAN is configured. I have VLAN 71, 81, and 91. Now let me show you all the configurations of each SBIs. I'll just speed up the video, but I'll show you each and every one of these SBIs. Okay, so now let me just jump on to the LAN configuration. For the wide area network, for the WAN configuration, I'm using currently dual WAN. This device, WR841N, only supports signal WAN network, so I will only be able to use one. For the VLANs defined in this design, I'm only using one VLAN gateway interface, and the IP address is 192.168.101.1. As you can see here, this is the VLAN 1, and all the rest of the VLANs are layer 2 only broadcast VLANs. So let me just go through those quickly as well. For the network security, I don't have any ACLs for this demonstration. All of the ACLs that I have here are turned off. For the clients, I have one client for VLAN, except for the admin VLANs that might have a few here and there because of the network devices. But for the host devices, I usually have just one. So you can see here 11.2, 21.2, 31.2, 41.2, 51.2, 61.2, 71.2, 81.2, and 91.2. I'll just go through the VNC and go through each and every one of them. 11.2, 11.2, so usually the same for all the devices. Wherever I have here, I'll just call the device. 21.2, 31.2, 41.2, 51.2. 61 doesn't have a desktop, it's a Wi-Fi, so I don't have any interface, but you can see I can connect to it sometime now. 71.2, 81.2, and 91.2. And the last but not the least, for this configuration, I would like to show you how everything is being routed. So for RT01, as I mentioned, this is the SG3428, and it has an IP address of 192.168.101.101, and these are the VLANs that are defined for that VLAN. The same thing for RT02, VLANs defined, the IP address of that device. Same thing for RT03, the VLANs and the IP address of that device. And before I end the walkthrough, let me just show you my current IP and which VLAN my current PC is connected. So my current PC is connected to admin VLAN, and I have an IP of 192.168.101.100, which should be the same IP network of all the layer 3 devices in the admin VLAN. For testing and demonstration, I created two batch files that quickly checks through all the workstations and the SVIs and all of the VLANs. The first one is pinger point bat. There you go. It just pings all the workstations, and then it repeats. It waits for 15 seconds and then repeats again. And the second one is doing a trace route. There you go. This one doesn't repeat, but it just shows you trace route of everything for all of the workstations. So let's do just that. Let's do pinger first. So as you can see here, I started with 11.2 and then all the way to 91.2. Let's do a trace route. And there you go. Now that I have shown the baseline configuration and default behavior of how everything is working, I'm now going to do the transfer and removal of the ER605 gateway. So let me do a ping google.com -t, and I'm going to the devices, and I'm going to remove this from the system. So if you're looking at the main screen, let me start by disconnecting all the cables to the ER605. Here you go. And you will see that my ping will now get disconnected. There you go. It's request timed out. And let me remove this cable here. And let me get this cable here. So I'm removing one of the cable that used to connect to the ER605, this one, and I'm using that port to connect to my new Wi-Fi router. There you go. And this one used to connect to ER605. I'm connecting that to the new Wi-Fi router. I think everything is connected. Everything is connected. I have internet. Yep. I think that's pretty much it. Everything is connected. So if I go look back to my console, yeah, everything is connected. In here, you can see here that I'm connected back to the internet. So let me do a quick refresh here. This GW01 ER605 is actually disconnected now. As you can see from the main screen, there are no more cables connected to this one. And you can see its heartbeat missed. Let's ping the IP address 192.168.101.1. You can see that it's replying, but actually this is not the device that is replying. It's the new device that is currently replying. So let me do another refresh here, and let me copy and paste this, and then open new one. And now you can see that once I paste this IP address, I'm now at the web management console of the TL-WR841 and okay. But you can see here that even if I'm now using this as my internet gateway, this is also now my inter VLAN gateway. So let me go to the Omada controller, still like that. Let me go to transmission, and let me turn off all the routing. This one will not have any more impact to my system because the ER605 is not my gateway anymore. This one will only work for the ER605, and I can prove that by doing a pinger again. 11.2 works, 21.2, 31.2, 41.2, 51.2, 61.2, 71.2, 81.2, and 91.2. So now it's waiting for 15 seconds, and you will have to do that again. Let me do a trace as well. And you can see that I can go to the 101.1, which is this new Wi-Fi router, and I'm going to use that to go through all the VLANs: 51, 61, 71, 81, and finally 91. So as you can see, this is the guy that is doing all the inter VLAN routing across all 3 layer 3 switches. So if we just go back through here, you can see that this is the guy that's doing routing here, and routing here. And let's prove that again. I will disconnect that cable that's uplinking the SG2008 to the Wi-Fi router. So ping 192.68.11.2. You will see that it will work. And let's do -T. See what happens if I remove this cable. And you will see that it will quickly stop, and it says request Android. And let me put that back again. And that's it. The same thing will happen to the fourth one. So I'm jumping into the new switch. 11, 21, and 31 are in the same switch. 41, 51, and 61 are in the same switch. So if I do this, I'm testing 41, 51, and 61. And if I remove this, there you go. Let me put that cable back in again. So with this test, I have already tested 41, 51, and 61. And let me do a final test for the last switch. So this one is working. Let me do the cable. There you go. And you can see that all inter VLAN works because of this router. Now let me show you how this is done. So just go to advanced routing. As you can see here, destination 11, 21, 31 goes to the 101. 41, 51, 61 goes to the 102. 71, 81, 91 goes to the 103. And that's how everything is working. For demonstration, I'm going to disable, then enable them. Okay, so it's waiting, so let me disable selected. I have disabled all of them. Let's see how it responds. There you go. It's trying to ping 11.2 request timed out, and it's going to be the same for all of the VLAN. So let me just wait until everything is completed. Okay, now it's finished. It's now doing, it's going to repeat again after 15 seconds. So let me enable everything again. There you go, and let's head back here. Now it will complete much faster because everything has been enabled. There you go, and that's how you do it. So let's wait until it's completed. And there you go. Okay, so let's verify what's happening with the ER605 gateway in the Omada console. So as you can see, it's currently disconnected. Let's go refresh, and let's see if there's anything on the log. It says here ER605 is disconnected, as you can see here. ER605 is disconnected, and it still is disconnected. This has been 2 to 3 years in the making. I've been planning this for a very long time. I'm really hoping that I was able to convey my thoughts regarding separation of responsibility between an internet gateway and a LAN router. The internet gateway can do the functionality of a firewall, internet routing, VPN, and all those fancy stuff. While the LAN router, the one that handles inter-VLAN traffic, I would like to make it a strong muscle between your network, forwarding traffic from one switch to another, from one host to another. So I think that's pretty much it. I hope you like this video. If you like, please subscribe. Subscription is free to my channel. If you don't like this video, please give it a dislike. But do let me know what you don't like in this video so that I can make those changes in the future videos. Thank you for watching my videos. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you and bye-bye.